A jury has acquitted a former sheriff's deputy who was accused of failing to act during the Parkland school shooting. This was back in 2018. 17 people died that day. Scot Peterson was found not guilty of felony child neglect and other charges. Now, this was the first time that a U.S. law enforcement officer had been charged for their actions, or rather lack of action, during a school shooting. Manuel Bojorquez has more on yesterday's verdict and the possible legal precedent that could set.
The defendant is not guilty.
Former Florida Sheriff's Deputy Scot Peterson visibly shook as the jury in his trial cleared him of charges including felony child neglect, culpable negligence, and perjury. Peterson's friends, family, and legal team celebrated the verdict, and moments later he told the press, quote, "I've got my life back."
The only person to blame was that monster.
Peterson, who could have faced nearly 100 years in prison if convicted, placed sole blame on the gunman for the 2018 Parkland shooting. 3 adults and 14 teenagers were killed. Prosecutors had argued that Peterson, who was the only armed school resource officer on duty that day, ignored his training to confront the gunman. Instead, he remained outside the building for more than 40 minutes. Peterson's attorney said he could not tell where the shots were coming from.
Sadly, we don't understand how people haven't been held accountable to the fullest extent of the law.
Tony Montalto, whose daughter Gina died in the shooting, said he was extremely disappointed by the verdict.
The system failed.
And Manuel Oliver, whose son Joaquin was also killed, called Peterson's acquittal offensive.
They were kind of in the middle of a celebration of what happened today, not showing any respect for what happened 5 years ago.
Despite Thursday's not guilty verdict, CBS News legal analyst Ricky Kleeman says the fact there even was a trial may set a new precedent.
To school safety officers in general, the message went out loud and clear. If they do not do everything they can and run toward danger, then they may be prosecuted.
For CBS Mornings, I'm Manuel Bojorquez in Fort Lauderdale.